Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, we ask that you all please rise and direct your attention to the American flag, located by the north end zone for the playing of our national anthem, performed by the Williamsburg Symphonic Band and Choir. Please remain standing and sing the Williamsburg alma mater performed by the Symphonic Band and Choir. The words are printed in your program. Good afternoon. I'm High School Principal Jason Tackett, and I would like to welcome you to the beautiful Ken Osborne Field at Abrams Stadium for the 2024 graduation ceremony. This is a momentous day that some believe would never come, while for others it has arrived with astonishing speed. I would like to thank the entire custodial staff of Williamsburg School District. In addition to our custodial staff, I'd like to thank Mr. Randy Germer, Mr. Rick Healy, Mr. Jason Moberly, Ms. Tracy Coffey, Mrs. Candy Bainham, Mrs. Mandy Irvin, Mrs. Morgan Eilerman, Mr. Mike Kirk, Ms. Holly Kopsha, Mr. Ryan Vasconcelos, Mr. John Wilson, Mr. Charlie Macklem, and Mrs. Amy Attinger for all of their behind-the-scenes help over the last few days in preparation for today. A big thank you today to our ushers for helping to seat our friends and family. Their names are printed in your programs. Finally, I would like to thank Mr. Kevin Lockwood for the musical direction of the band and choir. At this time, I want to thank two groups of people who have had a tremendous impact on the lives of those seated on the field today. First, would all of the parents of the graduates please stand? We extend our heartfelt gratitude for your tireless efforts in raising and nurturing remarkable individuals. Your unwavering love and guidance have played an instrumental role in shaping each graduate, and profound appreciation is immeasurable. Next, would all of the Williamsburg Schools faculty and staff members please stand? Let us acknowledge and applaud our exceptional team of teachers and support staff who have invested countless hours in guiding our graduates towards their success. Their unwavering commitment to preparing students for the unknown challenges of the future is truly commendable. Join us in giving them a round of applause for their remarkable efforts. At this time, I would like to introduce some of our distinguished guests. Please stand when I call your name. Mr. Matthew Early, Superintendent of Williamsburg Schools. Mr. Greg Wells, Treasurer of Williamsburg Schools. Mr. Mike Kirk, Williamsburg High School Assistant Principal. Mrs. Tina Reichert, Director of Student Services. Mrs. Amy Attinger, Director of Technology. Mr. Randy Germer, Director of Facilities. Also with us today are our Board of Education members. President, Mr. Jeff Cummins. Vice President, Mr. Brandon Lindsay. Board Member, Mr. Josh Clifton. Board Member, Mr. Daniel Napke. And Board Member, Mr. Charlie Macklem. Joining us from U.S. Grant Career Center, Principal, Mr. Barry Dalton. Superintendent, Mr. Mike Perry. And lastly, reading the names of graduates, Williamsburg Guidance Counselor, Mrs. Amanda Irvin. Miss Elizabeth Bowling, will you please come forward? Liz is the 2024 Senior Class President. It is my pleasure to present her with this plaque and recognition of this outstanding achievement.
I stand before you today, a little bit nervous, totally excited, but most of all, conflicted on if I wrote a speech that has the potential to leave a lasting impact, just like my time at Williamsburg has left on me. Like some of you, my time at Williamsburg began in kindergarten on the playground. Those first 6 years, I learned how to do math, read chapter books like Bridge to Terabithia, which was the first book to ever make me cry, and how to play hot cross buns on the recorder. Looking back, it now seems like I started middle school out of nowhere. I vividly remember walking into open house 2 days before my first day of 6th grade. As I stood in awe of my first real locker, I had no idea what my life would look like only 3 short years later. Although I learned many important lessons in middle school, like how to stay gold, how to recognize the moon phases, and how roller coasters work, my most memorable one was learning how to do school completely online. The most arguably influential years of our lives began when it seemed like the rest of the world was ending. But nonetheless, we prevailed through the tape measures and quarantines, and because of that, we have had the opportunity to laugh, cry, and grow together. Recently, it has been weighing on my heart that I have taken many of the people sitting before you for granted. So I would like to take a moment to acknowledge those who have witnessed me grow up and who I am sharing the biggest day of my life thus far with. I can assure you that your presence has never gone unnoticed. Although I would love to tell you that we have been able to make it to this day on our own, school has also taught me that lying is wrong, so I will not do it today. We have had teachers like Mr. McKibben, who was thoughtful enough to have the whole class sing happy birthday to a girl through a computer screen, and Mr. Bogan, who I am positive is beaming with pride today despite always giving us a hard time. And our school nurse, Steph Sutton, who is one of the kindest people I have ever met. There have been teachers like Mrs. Williams and Mrs. McLean who continuously show empathy and who have let me cry in their classrooms more times than I can count. Mrs. Kellerman and Mrs. Kopcha have seen some of my most humbling moments and yet continue to pour into me for the sake of all the potential that they see in their students. And Mrs. Eilerman, who will never fail to answer the phone when a crying girl is on the other side. Also, a special shout out to Senorita and Mr. Huffer, whose love story we all predicted freshman year. Most of all, I personally am standing before you today by the grace of God, the support of my friends and family, the unconditional love of my parents. Calvin and Rochelle Bowling are my twin pillars without whom I could not stand. Just as they watched their little girl walk into kindergarten on her first day of school, they will now watch her graduate surrounded by some of the people who will be in her life forever and some of the people who have been a part of her story thus far. Thank you.
Great job, Liz. This year, we are blessed to have 2 valedictorians, making them each co-valedictorian. Miss Margaret Arno, will you please come forward? Margaret is the co-valedictorian of the 2024 senior class. It is my pleasure to present this plaque to her in recognition of this outstanding accomplishment.
Good afternoon. My name is Maggie Arno, and I proudly stand before you all today as the class of 2024 valedictorian. I'm so blessed and excited to be standing here on this field today. Initially, I wasn't sure what I wanted to say in my speech, so I began to think about all of the valuable lessons I have learned throughout high school. I'm sure many of you have said the phrase, "I can't wait," meaning I can't wait to graduate, or I can't wait for summer. I sure have. But why? Why can't we wait? What is so important that we are willing to lose out on this moment right now? Oftentimes, we aren't living in the moment and really soaking it in. We are distracted, and you can tell by the little phrase, "I can't wait." If you think about it, growing up, there were so many things we couldn't wait for. We couldn't wait for field day, the book fair, and even becoming 5th graders so that we could play on the 5th grade playground. We also couldn't wait to become high schoolers, become seniors, and the big one, graduate. For the parents and grandparents, you couldn't wait to watch us take our first steps, say our first words, get on the bus for the first time, and see us graduate kindergarten. Looking back, we have so many amazing memories at Williamsburg, some that we couldn't wait for, and others that we couldn't wait to be over. Personally, I couldn't wait to make the softball team my freshman year. I couldn't wait to go on the Kings Island field trip with Mrs. Kellerman, even though she would never ride any of the rides with us. I couldn't wait to give this speech. I also couldn't wait to be done with Mr. McKibben's long notes days. But now, those memories, all the memories made in school, at band practice, at lunch, at football and basketball games, and in Mrs. Williams' freshman biology class that I know a lot of us will never forget, are simply just memories. So live in the moment now, before the moment fades into a memory. Enjoy all of your morning Dunkin' trips and bonfires with your friends. Enjoy getting ice cream with your favorite kind of sprinkles, singing songs as loud as you can, and going on late night drives. Just remember to live, and live in the now, not in the future. Because too often we are frantically thinking ahead and missing what is right in front of us. Oftentimes we look forward to an amazing, idolized thing that's about to happen, but it turns out we end up finding the next best thing to look forward to just minutes later. By constantly anticipating the future, we are sacrificing the now. And in no way am I suggesting that we shouldn't have dreams, goals, and aspirations, because these things are vital for success. So yes, dream big, take chances, shoot for the stars, and set massive goals. But I'm also trying to remind you all to not let the future allow you to overlook the present, and to encourage you to learn to wait. As you leave Abrams Stadium today, please take one thing away from this speech. Enjoy where you are now. Wait patiently and soak up every moment. We can wait for this ceremony to be over. We can wait for summer. We can wait just a little bit longer to move out on our own. And we can wait to start this next chapter of our lives. Our future will certainly arrive, but this exact moment, right now, is never going to happen again. Don't let your life's moments pass by unacknowledged, and don't be quick to wish these days away for something better, because the present moment is the only time that we are truly living. Experience all the highs, the lows, and everything in between. Enjoy the laughs, the cries, the little things. Cherish the last waves goodbye to your friends, the last hugs with your family, and your last time at Abrams Stadium as a high school student. Enjoy your journey and enjoy the present moment, because that new thing that you can't wait for will be here soon enough. Congratulations, class of 2024, and as always, go Wildcats. Thank you.
Awesome job, Maggie. Mr. Matthew Stahl, will you please come forward? Matthew is the co-valedictorian of the 2024 senior class. It is my pleasure to present him with a plaque in recognition of this outstanding accomplishment.
Good afternoon. I'm Matthew Stahl, and it is my honor to be speaking to you all as the valedictorian for the Williamsburg class of 2024. First, I have some people I need to thank. Thank you to my family, who through it all have shown me unconditional support and love. To my amazing friends, I'm so happy to have you guys in my life. Now, gaining the elusive title of valedictorian took a lot of work, but I couldn't have done it without the amazing group of teachers, administrators, and other staff at Berg. I speak for everyone in the class of 24 when I say that we are eternally grateful for all of you. Each one of you have been determined to get us students right here, where we're about to receive that piece of paper which serves as the gateway to the next chapter of our lives. Let's give the staff of Williamsburg High School a well-deserved round of applause. It's important to note that about half of this graduating class attended Grant Career Center. The staff there enabled them to explore career opportunities while still in high school. Let's give all the staff at Grant a round of applause. Now, I'm sure all us students in the class of 24 are feeling some sense of relief right now, or you're about to. After all, that's what this ceremony is all about. It's a really long and convoluted way to say, we're done. It wasn't too long ago when we had our last day of school, and yet it didn't really feel like it was the last day. Then we did the legacy walk, and now it's like, okay, we're saying our goodbyes. This might really be the end. Then we have this ceremony to tie a neat bow on the entire secondary education experience. But let me issue you all a warning. You're going to receive your diploma and walk out of here, go home, take off your cap and gown, and then you might realize that you don't feel any different than you did yesterday. And you might say, what? Why isn't there something more? Everyone calls me a graduate now. Why don't I feel like one? That is the question I'd like to briefly answer in my speech today. You see, I happen to be very familiar with this feeling of emptiness which comes directly after a big accomplishment. In fact, the most recent occurrence was on Thursday, when I learned I had achieved valedictorian status and would be giving this very speech. It felt awesome for a minute, but then I felt like it wasn't enough. For some reason, it wasn't everything I had expected it to be. I needed more. So immediately, I started thinking about the next big thing I would do to scratch that accomplishment itch. How about I start a new programming project this summer? Why not, right? Then, well, I need to make some money to pay for college, so let's get a job too. Oh yeah, and I also have that obligation to do some freelance work. You see, it gets out of control. As Mrs. Kellerman would say, the limit does not exist. Now, after doing some self-reflecting, I found a very useful idea to help explain this phenomenon. There's a creature in many East Asian religions called the hungry ghost. It is believed that any human that lives a selfish, greedy life will be reborn as a hungry ghost in their next life. These hungry ghosts are humanoid, but they are condemned to forever suffer from extreme hunger and thirst. I instantly realized that I, in a lot of ways, was being a hungry ghost. Despite achieving so much, I was never able to reach the point where I was just content. But could that be a good thing? Wouldn't never being satisfied just drive me to do more great things? Well, the issue with this endless quest to achieve more and more is that it eventually leads in one of two directions: burnout or complacency. You either take on so much work that it's impossible to keep up with it all, or you refuse to challenge yourself and instead target easy goals in order to feel accomplished again. This second scenario ironically leads to one never accomplishing anything important, because you need to allow yourself to fail repeatedly in order to eventually get it right and succeed. Just ask Mr. Staley. I'm sure he can show you all of the pieces of wood I failed to cut correctly at first. So this mindset of constantly pursuing new goals for their own sake, at best isn't useful, and at worst is harmful. So what can we replace this mindset with? Well, this requires another quick personal example. For a year and a half of my life, I was nonstop working on making a video game. And when I mean nonstop, I mean all of my free time was dedicated to this project. It was an obsession that harmed every aspect of my life that I chose to sacrifice, especially my friendships. And after completing and publishing that game, I actually felt pretty satisfied. Why? Well, I immediately reconnected with everyone in my life and was like, hey, I made a game. Want to play it? Seeing my friends and family enjoy something that I had put so much time and effort into finally gave it meaning. That's right. That's the solution. When we feel that emptiness, that longing for something greater, for an accomplishment, that's what we're wanting, meaning. We need our work to mean something, to have some purpose that can only be achieved through our work's interaction with other people, its social function. Why would reaching a goal mean anything if that goal did not itself provide something to your fellow human? And so, this logically follows. Work should be done because of, not in spite of, your relationships with others. Let me repeat that. Work should be done because of, not in spite of, your relationships with others. That is what I have learned after choosing far too many times in my life to take some of my closest relationships for granted. When I began this speech, I promised I would provide the answer to why we might get home tonight and feel not much different than we did yesterday. Only now we're technically graduates. Well, it's because we're entering a transitional period in our lives. Today is an inflection point. It's not a space in time when a drastic change occurs, but instead, it's the beginning of a very gradual movement in a certain direction. Right now, it's impossible to say where this acceleration will take each of us. Sometime in the future, however, we may reconnect and admire the divergence of the various winding paths each of us took, and then this event will undoubtedly mean something, because we'll realize it all started right here. Thank you.
Great job, Matthew. The Williamsburg Symphonic Band and Choir will now perform Farewell, My Friend.
On the
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed faculty, proud parents, and of course, the brilliant graduating class of 2024. As I stand before you today, I am overwhelmed with a sense of pride and gratitude. For today, we gather not only to celebrate academic achievements of our graduates, but also to honor the bonds that tie us together as a family, the Wildcat family. Family, it's a word that carries immense weight and significance. It's a word that conjures images of love, support, and belonging. And here, within the halls of our school, we've built a family unlike any other. Whether you started here in kindergarten or transferred here your junior year, through it all, you've been part of something bigger than yourselves. You've been a part of the Wildcat family. But what defines a family? Is it solely the bonds of blood, or does it extend beyond that, encompassing those who lift us up, support us through thick and thin, and stand by our side through every triumph and tribulation? In our Wildcat family, we've come to understand that family knows no boundaries. It knows no race, religion, or background. It's a mosaic of differences woven together by a common thread: our shared experiences, our shared struggles, and our shared victories. For some of us, family is the warm embrace of parents waiting eagerly in the bleachers, cheering us on as we chase our dreams. For others, it's the camaraderie of friends who become our chosen siblings, offering laughter, companionship, and unwavering loyalty. But here's the beauty of it all. No matter what form our family takes, once a member of the Wildcat family, always a member of the Wildcat family. Whether you're walking across this stage today or you walked across it decades ago, you will forever hold a cherished place in our hearts. As you embark on this new chapter of your lives, remember the lessons you've learned within these walls. Cherish the memories you've made and the friendships you forged. And never forget that you are part of something greater than yourselves. You are part of a family that will stand by you, root for you, and celebrate you, no matter where life takes you. So Wildcats, as you leave the field today into the great unknown, take comfort in the knowledge that you are never truly alone. For you will always have a home here within the embrace of the Wildcat family. Congratulations, class of 2024. Your journey is just beginning, and we can't wait to see the incredible heights you'll reach. And remember, once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat. Thank you. I would now like to recognize the seniors who have received scholarships to pursue their education farther. The scholarships and awards the students have received are printed in your programs. I'm pleased to announce that this year's senior class, at the time of printing the program, have been awarded $1,028,060. $44,110 came from local scholarships. So a heartfelt thanks to those organizations, businesses, and individuals who have awarded scholarships to our seniors. I am now going to read the names of the students who have been awarded scholarships. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing until all names have been called. Please hold your applause until I'm finished reading everyone's name. Robert Adams, Margaret Arno, Robin Blanton, Caleb Bogan, Elizabeth Bowling, Riley Clark, Alexander Irvin, Nora Grivey, Madison Grubb, Jonathan Helton, Jonathan Jones, Olivia Malott, Zoen Mason, Alexander McDowell, Evan Meisberger, Jaden Miller, Avery Neff, Abriana Newman, Jaylee Poland Blevins, Stephen Rapp, Hannah Riggs, Julianne Royal, Alyssa Rudisil, Cadence Shoemake, Elizabeth Seltzer, Madison Spieg, Matthew Stahl, Nathan Steinhaus, Annabelle Terrell, Bethany Wilson, and Odessa Wilson. I would now like to recognize those students who are members of the National Honor Society or the National Technical Honor Society. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing until all names have been called. Robert Adams, Margaret Arno, Caleb Barnhart, Caden Blankenship, Robin Blanton, Caleb Bogan, Elizabeth Bowling, Lucas Dalton, Nora Grivey, Olivia Malott, Alexander McDowell, Avery Neth, Isabella Poe, Hannah Riggs, Julianne Royal, Lydia Rudy, Cadence Shoemake, Austin Sipple, Madison Speed, Matthew Stahl, Nathan Steinhaus, Annabelle Terrell, and Odessa Wilson. The following students have earned an honors diploma according to the guidelines of the state of Ohio. Would you please stand when your name is called? Margaret Arno, Olivia Malott, Alexander McDowell, Avery Neth, Julianne Royal, and Matthew Stahl. The class of 2024 provided 11,694 hours of community service through the Williamsburg Service Loaning Program. The following students have provided over 200 hours of community service. Would you please stand when your name is called? Margaret Arno, Caden Blankenship, Robin Blanton, Elizabeth Bowling, Alexander Irvin, Christopher Hess, Olivia Malott, Avery Neth, Jaylee Pullum Blevins, Julianne Royal, Elizabeth Seltzer, Cadence Shoemake, Madison Speed, Matthew Stahl, and Nathan Steinhaus. I would now like to recognize those who have chosen to enlist with our military. These individuals have made a very difficult, important decision about what to do with their future. Caden Blankenship, Landon Harcourt, Hunter Jenk, Isabella Poe, and Stephen Rapp. We wish you well, and our prayers are with you. Would any veterans or current members of the armed forces who are in our crowd today please stand to be recognized? Thank you for your service to our country. It is now time for the presentation of diplomas. In an effort to preserve the dignity of our ceremony for our graduates, we ask that you please remain seated and hold your applause until they have all received their diplomas. Will the class please rise? Members of the Board of Education, it is my pleasure to present to you the Williamsburg High School graduating class of 2024. All of these students have successfully completed the course of study as prescribed by the Board of Education. The diploma they are about to receive, the highest honor in our power to bestow, carries with it our respect, confidence, and best wishes for future success. Please take your places for the presentation of diplomas.
Elizabeth Ann Bowling. Matthew Brady Stahl. Margaret Marie Arno. Robert Thomas Adams. Kinsley Louise Ackerman. Pierce Sullivan Ayers. Shelby Celine Bergfeld. Caleb Joseph Barnhart. Robin Delaney Blanton. Caden Michael Talmadge Blankenship. Lucas Riley Dalton. Holly Elaine Durham. Timothy Adam Patrick Carver. Courtney Marie Dickerson. Malachi Jacob Butcher. Riley Nicole Clark. Vincent Alexander Brigham. Taylor Reese Bunch. Caleb Allen Bogan. Jalen Elizabeth Brady. Nora Marlene Grivey. Austin Philip DeRosset. Madison Elaine Grove. Jeremy Michael Duty. Elizabeth Michaela Grace Hicks. Austin Michael Elkins. Lillian Rose Jacobs. Andrew Charlemagne Ellison. Olivia Grace Malott. Alexander Micah Irvin. Jonathan Taylor Helton. Isabella Pearl May Poe. Landon Andre Harcourt. Abriana Marie Newman. Landon Travis Halsey. Avery Nicole Neff. Brendan Nicholas Hacker. Takayla Raylyn Metters. Keegan Shannon Fitch. Zoe Marie Mason. Jaylee Ellen Pullen Blevins. Ethan Charles Henderson. Hannah M. Riggs. Christopher Ray Hess. Jamie Nicole Ritchie. David Gage Hickey. Julianne Faye Royal. Logan Anthony Daniel Hunter. Alyssa May Rudisil. Hunter David Jenk. Evan Tyler Meisberger. Jasmine Anastasia Stahl. Alexander Cesario McDowell. Madison Grace Spieg. Zoen Blake Mason. Dorothea May Siegel. Dominic Samuel Aaron Kinman. Cadence Marie Shoemake. Jonathan Michael Dane Jones. Elizabeth Lynn Seltzer. Annabelle Faith Terrell. Jaden Thomas Miller. Angelina Marie Wendell. Carson Ryan Moon. Bethany Marie Wilson. Jacob Philip Nunner. Odessa Marie Wilson. Caleb Owen Pence. Dakota Jones Pollitt. Nathan Thomas Steinhaus. Austin Ray Sipple. Colton Thomas Siegel. Joel Abram Schott. Elgar Josue Santiago Perez. Eric Caden Sale. Wyatt Edward Roysden. Stephen Tyler Rapp.
Will the class please rise? By the power vested in me by the State of Ohio Board of Education and the Williamsburg Local School District Board of Education, I hereby confer upon you the diploma of Williamsburg High School. Congratulations, class of 2024.